Okay, everyone, we're going to talk about the radial design feature, the radial repeat, rather. And this is going to be for us an experiment. It's not going to be as long as a project would be, so just 1 or 2 class periods at the most. I'll show you the feature on Illustrator, and it's very simple, but there are so many options you guys can take and add to and really be creative with this. So I'm starting with a shape that you see here already, made out of the polygon tool. And you guys can create a shape similar to this. All I did was grab the polygon tool, create a few shapes, copy and paste them, rotate, resize them. You guys know how to do that already. And then once I line them up how I'd like, I select both shapes. And usually in my properties window here at the bottom, I have my Pathfinder options. You can also have Pathfinder open in a separate window if you'd like. And I used the exclude, which is everything but the middle. Everything but the overlap is taken out there. So it's actually transparent in the middle there. You could see the other shape through it. And that's a really cool feature to quickly make new shapes. So we looked at that a little bit, but I wanted to remind you that that's there so that you can create new shapes and be a little bit more creative than just the basics that we have given to us. A little note about the star tool before we begin. If you're going to use the star, please try and alter it or um, use your imagination with it a little bit more than the star that's given to you already. So I could maybe grab the corners and round it to make another shape, grab the points and pull them in, maybe to make a flower, different shapes like that. Maybe I could copy and paste, pull it into the middle here. And do the same thing I did, make this kind of shape. So that's pretty quick, pretty simple, makes more interesting and unique shapes to you rather than, of course, sticking with the basics that are given to us here. So, all right, so I'm going to start with this one. And I'm selecting the entire shape that I want to be included in the radial design. And then how I make the radial is I have to go up to Object, Repeat, and Radial. All right, so we already see our preview here of the design. I'm going to make the whole thing smaller just so it fits in our artboard. It's a little bit easier to see. And I'll show you the options that we have here. So there's 3 little circles here. These 3 little options are different ways to alter your radial design. So this one, first of all, you can slide it up or down. It adds more or less repeats of that shape that I started with. This arrow here adds more or less going around the circle. So I could do just half the circle if I wanted to. I could do 3/4. And this circle here, you'll pull it in or out and change the closeness of the objects that you've started with. So let me go here, pull it out a little bit, give us some room to draw, and maybe I'll add a few more. Oops, need one here. There it is. And now I have the basics of my radial design. Now, I would like to keep it here. Make sure this blue circle is included so that you can continue to edit. You saw that I just accidentally clicked off of it. The blue circle went away, so I clicked Command Z on my keyboard really quick so I could go back and I want to keep editing this design so you could see some more options here. If I would like to edit within the radial design, what I'm going to do is double click on one of my objects. You'll see this bar pops up whenever you're kind of in an edit mode. So the same bar with our patterns and you're editing your pattern. And this bar is really important because if it's not here, that means that you are not editing your radial design, you're just moving one of your repeats. But if this bar is here, that means that anytime I move any one of them, they all move. So you'll see here I'm just stretching it out and they all move in the same exact way. And I don't have to move all of them individually. So that's very helpful. It's also helpful because I can add, let's stick with the star. I can add a shape. Definitely going to change my color here because I have a lot of green going on. And when I change my color, of course, all of the stars change color. I can move them around. Oops. I can move them in or out wherever I'd like. Of course, I can overlap just like I would be able to with a blank canvas here without the radial repeat option. I can overlap. I can change the order back to front. So maybe if I want my star to be in the back here, I'm going to go to Arrange, Send to Back. And then, actually, let's grab, oh, good to know. I actually kind of forgot about this. So this star is the one I started with. So I have to modify that star. I can't grab another one. I was just reminded because I tried to grab this polygon shape that I did not start with. So I have to start with this one. So maybe if you're editing, click on the top one. We also have a little preview in our navigator. I can actually see that the opacity is farther up on the two shapes that are our originals. And then the other ones that are just the copies are not shaded all the way to show us that we have to edit those. So if I want this one to be on top, Arrange, Bring to Front, I have to do it with that one. Okay, so that was a good thing for me to remind myself of. So this is a pretty cool start. If I would like a background color, which I would go back to after I finish my radial repeat, and I would simply add a rectangle to my artboard. I will change my color a little bit lighter here so I can see everything on top, and then I will go Arrange, Send to Back. Once you grab your radial design, you can move it all together. So I'll actually make it a little bit smaller so it fits in my artboard. Framed it a little bit nicer before I turn it in. Okay, be aware of your stroke lines and all of your details. We don't want to forget about our stroke lines and our spacing. Fill all of the spaces. I would actually go back and I would fill all of my spaces with some detail. Maybe I want to add some smaller details here. Just one little here. I would add some outside details here. Try not to use the brush for everything because we want it to look very graphic and organized and precise, but you can use the brush for some extra details at the end there. That's fine. Change the color. Okay, and that would be our radial design experiment. Screenshot, hand it in, and try another one if you'd like. You can try as many as you'd like, overlap, and experiment with the tools given. So have a lot of fun, guys.